Resilience, resourcefulness, and perseverance are the three defining characteristics of Thomas Monaghan's path from a rough childhood to the establishment of a pizza empire worth $1 billion. Thomas Monaghan was born in Michigan on March 25, 1937, and he was raised in a family that belonged to the middle class. His mother was engaged in a nursing school, while his father was a truck driver. He was the only child in the family. A tragic event occurred when Thomas's father passed away when he was just 4 years old, leaving his mother to raise him and his brother Jim by herself. Due to the fact that their mother was having trouble providing for her children, she was forced to place the boys in foster care for a period of 7 years. This meant that Thomas was deprived of the love and support of his mother and father for a significant portion of his early infancy. The severity of boarding school and the rigidity of foster homes were two of the experiences that impacted his early years. He was subjected to adversity and mistreatment during his formative years. Thomas continued to persevere in spite of these challenges. He barely made it through high school and was accepted to the University of Michigan, despite the fact that he did not have the financial means to attend the university. Thomas got a job as a newspaper delivery guy so that he could better provide for his family. This work not only enabled him to maintain his financial stability, but it also provided him with the fundamentals of business and the administration of his finances, which were skills that would prove useful to him in the future. In the year 1959, when Thomas had a small amount of money saved up, he was once again made to feel dissatisfied when he was taken advantage of and his savings were stolen. At that moment, however, fate took a favorable turn when his brother Jim approached him with an opportunity that would alter the course of their lives indefinitely. Jim worked for the United States Postal Service and also had a part-time job at a pizza restaurant that was failing financially and was owned by Dominic DeVarty. Dominic attempted to sell his failing restaurant for $500, but the restaurant had a huge debt of $2,000, which the new owner would be required to take on. Dominic's restaurant was in the process of failing. The concept was discussed, and Thomas and Jim came to the conclusion that they would purchase the restaurant. In order to finance the purchase, they borrowed $900 from the post office. Although they did not change the name of the business, Dominic did provide them with his pizza recipes and instructed them on how to make the sauce. There was not much of a fuss around the opening of the restaurant on December 9, 1960. The entire amount of sales for the first day was only $14, and the situation did not significantly improve over the subsequent weeks. Customers had to physically enter the store in order to place their orders because they did not have a phone. Over time, Tom and Jim established a delivery business, which resulted in the employment of 2 factory workers on a commission basis. Sales barely surpassed $7 per day in the first several months, with the majority of customers coming from surrounding college students. The sales, on the other hand, dropped to a mere $28 by the time the semester was up. As the two brothers fought over their respective visions for the restaurant, the business partnership that Tom and Jim had been working together began to experience strain. Jim eventually left the company, and in exchange for his 50% stake in the company, he accepted a Volkswagen automobile. This choice will come back to haunt him in the future because he failed to recognize the significance of his fair share. Tom was now the sole proprietor of the restaurant, and he was compelled to assume complete control of it. It was no longer possible for him to pursue his desire of going to college, so he decided to focus on the business instead. After some time had passed, his efforts started to bear fruit, and sales started to increase once more. Tom was able to reap the benefits of his dedication to enhancing the restaurant by acquiring a new recipe for the pizza sauce. This recipe was provided to him by a fellow proprietor of an Italian restaurant who was friendly. Because of this unique sauce, people raved about the pizza, which led to an increase in sales. Despite the fact that Tom was aware of the potential for developing the business, he was also aware that he required a trustworthy partner to manage the restaurant while he concentrated on extending the brand. He established a partnership with Jim Gilmore, the proprietor of a restaurant in the area, and entered into the arrangement. The unfortunate reality is that this would result in yet another error. Jim Gilmore was then suspected of stealing money from the cash drawer since he did not pay the agreed-upon sum of $500 for his portion of the firm. Additionally, Gilmore struggled with alcoholism, which had a negative impact on the overall quality of the company. In due time, the partnership came to an end, and Tom was forced to shoulder the financial burden of the losses that were incurred. Tom was confronted with the problem of maintaining the name Domino's for the restaurant, which added to the difficulties he was already experiencing. Dominic, the previous proprietor of the restaurant, became envious of its success and insisted that Tom stop using his name within the establishment. Now that Tom had spent years cultivating the restaurant's image around the moniker, he was compelled to come up with a new name for the establishment himself. Domino's was the name that was proposed by a pizza delivery rider after a lot of brainstorming, and Tom just adored it. The decision that Tom made to redesign the logo, which included selecting 3 dots from the game of dominoes as the emblem, would prove to be a significant step forward for the company. Tom's decision was made in conjunction with the new name. Tom's attention switched to enhancing the operations at this point in time. Over the course of a single day, when the employees of the restaurant were off, Tom made the decision to streamline the menu and only provide pizza. To his astonishment, this tactic resulted in an increase in earnings, and he came to the realization that by providing fewer products, they could simplify their operations and reduce their expenses. Also, he did away with the option of dining in, which resulted in a reduction in the requirement for additional workers and an increase in profit margins. Domino's Pizza has made delivery its primary business, and the company has introduced developments such as cardboard pizza boxes that maintain the pie's temperature and delivery pouches that further differentiate the company from its rivals. Domino's began enjoying tremendous expansion as a result of these modifications. After determining that there was a large demand for pizza in areas such as college campuses and military posts, Tom made the decision to franchise the business and build new locations. Instead of spending money on costly commercials, Domino's decided to market the brand through student newspapers, which turned out to be an excellent and cost-effective method of marketing the organization. Domino's Pizza had 32 franchises by the year 1967, and by 1969, the company had grown to 3 states, Ohio, Vermont, and Michigan. However, as Domino's expanded, the number of competitors also increased. A highly contentious policy was implemented by the company in 1980, which stated that if a pizza was not delivered within 30 minutes, it would be free of charge. Additionally, this policy contributed to an increase in sales, but it also resulted in a number of problems, one of which was a tragic accident that occurred in 1989 when a delivery driver who was only 17 years old was hurrying to deliver a pizza on time and wrecked his vehicle, resulting in his death. Domino's was bombarded with criticism, which ultimately resulted in fines of millions of dollars, since mishaps of a similar nature happened. In the end, Tom made the decision to terminate the 30-minute delivery guarantee. But the problems that the company was experiencing did not end there. The choice to sell Domino's to a group of investors for a price of $1.1 billion was a challenging one for Tom Monaghan to make in the year 1998. However, the company continued to struggle with difficulties even after the transaction was completed. There was a crisis in public relations that occurred in 2009 as a result of a video that went viral showing 2 employees of Domino's making pizza in an unclean manner. The company's reputation was damaged as a result of the incident, despite the fact that it was later discovered that the video was staged as a joke and that the pizza was never delivered to consumers. In spite of these obstacles, Domino's has maintained its success. In terms of the number of locations, The company currently operates more than 18,148 stores across the globe, surpassing Pizza Hut in this regard. With over 16,000 employees, it is one of the most successful pizza chains in the world. This is a fraction of the number of employees that its competitors have. The journey that Tom Monaghan took from having a challenging upbringing to being the founder of a pizza company that is worth $1 billion is a monument to the power of endurance and creativity. Through his foresight and dogged drive, he was able to transform Domino's into the worldwide brand that it is today, despite the various obstacles that he encountered. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe to our YouTube channel.